Good afternoon and welcome to the January Cattle, Sheep, and Goats briefing. My name is Joe Parsons. I serve as chair of the Agricultural Statistics Board here at NASS. This briefing is for the Secretary and other policymakers at USDA to better understand the content of today's reports. We're pleased to have Dr. Seth Meyer, USDA's Chief Economist, with us today. Dr. Meyer, as you know, the January cattle and livestock and other livestock reports represent a major output for NASS. We had several folks from our regional field offices join with us to work on parts of these reports. We are pleased to have the assistance of Aaron Price, Tyler Heap, and Brenda Fitzner on cattle, Kim Dupre on sheep, and Brianna Miller and Megan Healy to help out on the goat portions of these reports. I have a few notes for our live streaming audience. The cattle report is a key industry report. The Office of Management and Budget provides specific guidance on how these key statistical reports are to be released. OMB Statistical Policy Directive Number 3 precludes policymaking officials from making public comment within 1 hour of the release of these reports. Statistical agencies are also guided to provide for a wide distribution of information in a variety of formats and be open about our processes and procedures. In order to share this briefing widely while addressing questions from policymakers, you will see a notice indicating we are addressing a question in the room. Also, we will not be taking questions from the public during the briefing. However, NASS staff are always available for email or phone questions. We strive to have everything presented at this briefing match the official record. However, should there be any discrepancy between what's presented at this briefing and the published estimates, always refer to the official public estimates. With that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Travis Averill, Chief of the NASS Livestock Branch. Travis?
Thank you, Joe. Before getting into the data today, I would like to provide an overview of the January 2022 cattle survey. Data collection period was from the 31st of December to January 14th. Approximately 34,800 operations were sampled in all 50 states. Data collection methods used to gather data from cattle producers include mail, telephone, and internet. Note there were no data collected via face-to-face interviews this survey. The primary data items asked were total inventory by class, all cattle on feed, and the annual calf crop. On this slide is the past 12 months of the drought conditions in the United States. In the top left-hand corner of the slide is the drought map as of December 29th, 2020. And then on the top right side of the U.S. is the U.S. map as of June 29th, 2021, to provide a midpoint analysis of the drought for the past year. And at the bottom is the drought condition as of December 28th, 2021. During this year, conditions in parts of the central part of the U.S. improved, as you can see in the top right, as the yellow and red magnitudes decreased. However, at the end of the year, in the bottom map, the drought intensified as it moved back into more heavily populated parts of the country for cattle. And also you can see on the eastern shore of the United States that there's some states there that are more yellow than they were earlier in the year. So the drought has intensified as the year has gone. So revisions for the U.S. cattle and calves, all inventory and calf crop estimates from July 1, 2020 to July 1st, 2021 were reviewed using final calf crop, official slaughter, death loss, and updated import and export data. This table provides an overview of the revisions for July 1st, 2020 through July 1st, 2021. As the table has the initial estimate, current revisions, the net revision, and the last column is the current estimate. For all cattle and calves on July 1, 2020, the net revision is a decrease of 0.7%, and current estimate is at 102.3 million head. For the 2020 calf crop, the net revision is down 0.9%, and the current estimate is at 35.5 million head. For all cattle and calves on January 1, 2021, the net revision is an increase of 0.2%, and current estimate is at 93.8 million head. For all cattle and calves on July 1st of 2021, the net revision is a decrease of 0.1%, and current estimate is at 100.8 million. In the 2020 calf crop, the net revision is less than 0.1%, and current estimate is at 35.1 million. As of January 1, 2022, all cattle and calves in the United States are at 91.9 million head, down 2% from the 2021 total. In the bottom left-hand corner are the top 5 states for cattle in the United States. As you can see, 4 out of the 5 are in red. Those are decreased percentages year over year. In the blue, in California, is up from previous year. So Texas leads the way as the top producing cattle state in the United States. Just a note, you can see Oklahoma is number 4, Oklahoma is number 5, California is number 4. Those two have actually flip-flopped from prior year's rankings. And at the bottom is the U.S. chart of all cattle and calves for January 1 from 2002 to 2022. And as you can see, the current cattle cycle started in 2014 at 88.2 million head. We are currently at 91.9 million head in 2022. Here is a map of the United States for January 1, 2022 cattle and calves inventory with comparisons to 2021. The top number is the inventory as a unit of 1,000 head, and the bottom number is the percent change from previous year's inventory. For the 50 states surveyed, you can see on the map, 11 states are increasing from previous year, and those are illustrated with blue magnitudes based on the percent change from previous year. 35 states are decreasing from previous year, and those are in red. 5 states are unchanged from last year, and those states are in gray. A couple of notes to take from this map. Record highs in Alaska and Idaho, and you'll see the pound sign after the inventory numbers on the maps for those 2 states. And there's 7 record lows, and those have the ampersand sign, and that's Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, Indiana, Maine, Maryland, and New Jersey. January 1, all cows and heifers that have calved are at 39.5 million head, down 2% from previous year. Beef cows are at 30.1 million head, down 2.3% from 2021. Milk cows are at 9.4 million head, down 0.7% from a year ago. In the bottom left-hand corner is the chart of the U.S. beef cow for January 1 from 2002 to current. This is very similar to the all cattle cycle, and beef cows peaked in 2019 at 31.7 million head. To the right is the U.S. milk cows for January 1 for the same time frame. And milk cow inventory has ranged from 9 to 9.5 million head over the last 20 plus years in the United States. As of January 1st, all heifers 500 pounds and over are at 19.8 million head, down 2.1% from previous year. As you can see, all 3 components of the heifer inventory are down year over year. Beef replacement heifers are at 5.6 million, down 3.3% from 2021. Milk replacement heifers are at 4.5 million, down 3.4% from last year. Other heifers are at 9.7 million, down 0.8% from 2021. At the bottom is a chart of the U.S. all heifers for January 1 from 2002 to current. This chart mirrors the peaks and valleys of the all cattle cycle too. Next are the steers, bulls, and calves. On January 1, steers 500 pounds and over are at 16.6 million head, down 1.2% from 2021. Bulls 500 pounds and over are down 4.6% from last year at 2.1 million head. Calves weighing less than 500 pounds are at 13.9 million head, down 2.6% from previous year. At the bottom is a chart illustrating the steers, bulls, and calves for January 1 from 2002 to current. The blue represents the steers, orange is for bulls, and the gray are the calves. Next, the U.S. calf crop. The calf crop for the first half of 2021 is at 25.6 million head, down 0.9% from previous year. As a percentage of the total calf crop for 2021, the first half accounted for 73.1%, up from the 72.8% in 2020. July 1st to December 31st, 2021, the calf crop is 9.5 million, down 2% from previous year. As a percentage of the total calf crop, the second half accounts for 26.9%, down 0.3 percentage points from previous year. The annual calf crop for 2021 is 35.1 million head, down 1.2% from previous year. At the bottom is a chart of the annual calf crop from 2001 to 2021. Let's take a look at trade expectations compared to NASS estimates as a percentage of previous year. Trade ranges of the gray are gray, trade averages are the black circle, and NASS estimates are the red square. As you can see, milk cows and calf crop are within range of trade expectations, while all cattle, all cows, and beef cows trade expectations are higher, whereas cattle on feed for 1,000 plus capacity is lower. The all cattle and calves chart of ASB first estimates versus final estimates for the last 11 years. ASB first estimate and final estimates are the blue and red lines respectively. The trade ranges are illustrated with the light gray. Next is a chart of all cows and heifer slaughter as a percentage of total slaughter. In 2021, all cow slaughter accounted for 20.1% of total slaughter, up from 19.7% in 2020. Heifer slaughter accounted for 29.6% of total slaughter in 2021, up from 29.4% of previous year. Typically, when cow slaughter is below 18% of total slaughter and heifer slaughter is at or below 28%, cattle herd is expanded. Next slide just continues to build off of the female slaughter in comparisons to inventory on an annual basis. So you can see that this is a cattle inventory versus cow and heifer slaughter as a percent of slaughter comparison to the following year's inventory that's illustrated by the blue line. So female is red, female slaughter is in red, cows inventory of the following years in blue. So you can see the impact that the female slaughter has, how it follows the following year with the cattle cycle. U.S. cattle on feed on January 1st, 2022, with comparisons to 2021. Feedlots with a capacity of 1,000 head or more are at 12,037,000 head, up 0.6% from previous year. As a percentage of the total cattle on feed, this group accounts for 81.9% of all cattle on feed, slightly higher than the 81.6% in 2021. Feedlots with a capacity of less than 1,000 head is at 2.7 million head, down 1.7% from last year. This group accounts for 18.1% of all cattle on feed. The chart for January 1, all cattle on feed from 2002 to current is at the bottom. Just a couple notes, the lowest inventory was in 2014 at 12.9 million head, and the highest was in 2008 at 14.8 million. The U.S. feeder cattle supply for January 1, 2022 with comparisons to previous year. Calves under 500 pounds at 13.9 million. Steers and other heifers 500 pounds and over accounted for 26.3 million head. The feeder cattle supply is the sum of the three inventories, and so the total supply is 40.2 million head, 1.6% below the 2021 total of 40.9 million head. As stated on the previous slide, cattle on feed is at 14.7 million head. The calculated cattle feeder cattle supply is 25.5 million, down 2.6% from the 26.2 million head in 2021. You can see how feeder cattle supply for January 1 has ranged from 24.6 million in 2015 to 28.8 million in 2003 on the chart at the bottom. Next, I'll be covering the sheep and goat survey. Data collection period was the same as cattle in December 31st to January 14th. Approximately 21,800 operations were sampled in all 50 states. Data collection methods were the same as cattle, mail, telephone, and internet, no face-to-face interviews. The primary data items collected in the sheep and goat survey was total inventory by class, the lamb and kid crops. Revisions for sheep and lambs, there were actually no revisions to previous year's inventory, though the slide shows you what the numbers were. So just to make sure if there's any questions, we did not revise last year at all. As of January 1, 2022, all sheep and lambs in the U.S. are at 5.1 million head, down 2% from the 2021 total. To the left of the chart are the top 5 states in sheep and lamb inventory, as Texas leads the way in the sheep inventory, followed by California, Colorado, Wyoming, and Utah. As you can see, the only state that's in blue is California. That's the only state that's up year over year, where the other 4 states in the top 5 are red. Those are down from previous year. At the bottom is a chart of the U.S. all sheep and lambs for January 1, 2002 to present. Here's a map of the United States for January 1, 2022 sheep and lamb inventory with comparisons to 2021. Top number is the inventory as a unit of 1,000 head, and the bottom number is the percent change from previous year inventory. For the 32 published states, 9 states are increasing, and those are in blue. 17 states are in red, as those are decreasing from 2020 inventory totals. Six states are unchanged from last year, and those are in gray. Just to note that other states accounts for those that are not published, and then New England has its own component of those 6 states that account for New England. Both of those are up from previous year. The U.S. is a record low for January. January 1 breeding sheep and lambs are at 3.7 million head, down 1.9% from 2021. Replacement lambs are at 640,000 head, down 1.5% from previous year. Ewes are at 2.9 million head, down 1.7% from 2021. Rams are down from last year at 160,000 head, or 5.9%. At the bottom is a chart illustrating lambs, ewes, and rams for January 1 from 2002 to current. Blue represents the lambs, ewes are in orange, and the gray are for the rams. The U.S. lamb crop, the 2021 lamb crop was 3.16 million head, down 1.6% from 2020. At the bottom is a chart of the annual lamb crop from 2001 to 2021. So we've been on a steady decline, as the inventory has too, for the sheep and lambs in the U.S. Revisions for U.S. goats and kids. All goats and kids inventory and kid crop estimates were for January 1, 2021 were reviewed using final kid crop, official slaughter, import and export data that's been updated in the relationship of new survey information to prior surveys. For all goats and kids on January 1, 2021, a revision of 0.2% was made, and current estimate is at 2.6 million head. For the 2020 kid crop, there were no revisions. As of January 1, 2022, all goats and kids in the U.S. are at 2.55 million head, down 1.4% from the 2021 total. Market goats and kids are at 457,000 head, down 9,000 from previous year. The breeding goats and kids are at 2.09 million, down 1.3% from last year. At the bottom is a chart of the U.S. all goats and kids for January 1 from 2009 to current. Similar to the sheep and lamb inventory, has been on a decline for recent period of time. January 1 goats and kids are at 2.1 million head, down 1.3% from 2021. Replacement kids are at 385,000 head, down 1% from previous year. Those are at 1.55 million, down 1.3% from 2021. Bucks are down 1.3% from last year and at 157,000 head. At the bottom is a chart illustrating the kids in blue, does in orange, and the gray are the bucks over the period of time from 2009 to current. The U.S. kid crop, 2021 kid crop was at 1.6 million head, down 3.3% from 2020. So next, I'd like to provide a highlight of selected upcoming NASS reports. Today's releases include agriculture prices and peanut prices. On February 11th will be the catfish production report. Vegetable annual summary will be released on February 16th. Farm and land and farms on February 18th. On February 24th will be the crop values annual summary. And finally, U.S. and Canadian cattle and sheep and U.S. and Canadian hogs are scheduled to be released on March 3rd. Later today at 4 p.m., I will be hosting Stat Chat to answer any questions concerning the January cattle report. Just a reminder, the 98th annual USDA Agricultural Outlook Forum will be held February 24th and 25th virtually. Please register today. And all reports are available at the NASS official website. That concludes today's briefing. Have a great